ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, angry faithful of all ages, welcome. This is your pre-July 4th episode of Nerd Sports, episode 167. We are being graced this evening with the presence of the almighty himself, David Dickerman. His employer thought highly of us, or thought so highly of us, that they decided to switch him to days so that way he could be on the show and represent in a more effective manner to potentially defend himself from the onslaught of attacks that he regularly endures, even though he's not present.
It won't do any good. The attacks will continue unabated.
Right.
Y'all ready for the weird sport of the week?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because David's here, we get the weird sport.
I found this and I just love it. I just love it. Love it.
Are those
it is.
Away they go, and Sarah of Auckland towards the right in green and yellow is the first one to have the advantage, with Hicknos Bees Knees in the red cap running in second place, and Ulverscroft Lord James, red and white colours. Emily Vo, her first ride, and is storming through to the lead now.
It is.
No.
Well, why did you stop that? I was invested.
No. Pull that back up. Pull that back up.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of.
What is it called?
Which one are we talking? That one or this one?
Pocket Rockets.
Pocket Rockets.
Really? That's what they went with?
That's what I call it, too.
I see a copyright lawsuit being filed here.
Come on.
Well, it's small and little on it, and they do vibrate. So
the only thing that put the icing on the cake is that the jockey needs to wear a silver outfit.
was there really? Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, and the horse's name.
No, there is no silver bullet. So,
oh come on!
In the winter,
huge,
thank you very much.
Huge missed opportunity there.
I know.
In the Pocket Rocket League.
Yeah.
I thought I saw an image there. The spirit of Vern Troyer's little Dr. Evil on one of those horses. Did you guys see that too?
He was right there.
The plane, boss. The plane.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
There's down at the finish line. There's a shining, beaming parent going, "You complete me. Yeah, you do. You complete me."
Oh
Oh my
God.
goodness.
Things I find on the internet. It's not.
All right.
It's pretty bad. What I did last week was those two handicapped people boxing. I showed that.
That was great. That
Yeah,
that
the
was
The only
great.
thing that would have made that video better is the insertion of the sound effect of squeaky toys every time somebody made contact.
Oh yeah.
So the men's college World Series
Oh, man.
was last week.
Ooh,
Um,
jumping right in.
And if you notice the thumbnail, we're going over the ridiculousness of the coach.
yeah. So here we think. A&M came out firing and they took game one and everything looked great. Okay. Tennessee didn't have an answer for Aggie pitching. I mean, they kind of came back to life a little bit there in the 7th and 8th and 9th innings, but it was too little too late. The A&M bats were still showing up. They were consistent. They weren't making mental mistakes. And then game 2 and game 3 happened. So, first and foremost, I want to show that Aggie Nation, members of Aggie Land, the 12th man, we're not bitter, right? We're not going to sit there and say that Tennessee was cheating or anything like that. Because, I mean, let's face it, Tennessee, they came out on top. They played harder. Their coaching staff was on it. And I'm going to use that as a segue. Because the word traitor is defined as a person who betrays a friend, country, principle, etc. Now, the word liar is defined as a person who tells lies, a deceiver who bears false witness. This, simply put, encapsulates one Jim Schlossnagel. This man took the reins of the Aggie baseball program on June 9th, 2021. His record, while at A&M, was 135-62, which is nothing to sneeze at. However, as the adage goes, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Now, during Game 3's post-game conference, Schlossnagel he scolded Richard Zane of Texags.com. Now, Schlossnagel got upset by the question of his future in Aggieland. Now, Jim proceeded to call Zane, quote, selfish for asking these types of questions immediately after the season ended. In fact, Schlossnagel said, quote, but I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That would be like you asking Braden Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. End quote. Yet, not even a scant 24 hours later, it was reported that Schlossnagel was taking the head coaching job at Texas. Yes, you heard me correctly. You heard me correctly. The over-entitled Center for Liberal Studies, University of Texas, not only signed the now former head coach of the Aggies, but the entire coaching staff. This type of exodus is not made at a moment's notice, but I would propose that the level of betrayal that was in place well in advance of the College World Series tournament. There is a growing dissent in Aggie land that this betrayal is the reason that the Aggies fell flat in games 2 and 3 against Tennessee. Impossible, you say? Well, take into consideration the idea, just merely the idea that the players found out ahead of time. Is it possible that these young men found out that the coaches that they have followed for the last 3 years were leaving? If there's ever a demotivator, this would be the parenthetical candlestick wielded by Colonel Mustard, if there ever existed such a thing. Now, I know that in professional sports, there exists a thing called interference. When someone under contract, one team or franchise, contacts said player, or in this case, coach, to lure them away with a new agreement for their services. That is called interference. Now, in the NFL, there are substantial penalties for these types of activities. Now, apparently, in the world of the NCAA, they don't have such rules governing these types of activities. Now, the first phone call that Schlossnagel should have made after his bald-faced lie was revealed should have been to the reporter that he dragged over the coals. But with every action, as the law states, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Now, the Aggies have experienced what could only be described as a massacre. Their team, which became runners-up in the school's first appearance in the final of the Men's College World Series, lost nearly a third of its roster to the transfer portal. The transfer portal in itself, in my humble opinion, will ruin college sports. This amounts to nothing more than a glorified free agency marketplace. Now, imagine, if you will, that you worked your butt off to improve your craft, maintain your GPA, and stay committed to the same program and school that accepted you and in most cases, offered you a scholarship to play the sport that you love. You've started the last couple of years where have finally earned that starting job and are getting looks from scouts that seemingly always were just out of your grasp. Then here comes someone from another program who has playoff experience and takes your spot on the team, and all your hard work has been for naught. And in some cases, these migrating players have been given monetary compensation by the new NIL rules. This will ultimately lead to the downfall of college sports. Now, gone are the days of school spirit and loyalty. And just when it seems that all is lost for the Aggies in their attempt to run it back and bring home another national championship for Aggie Land and the vaunted 12th man, there are glints of light and breath, and a breath of fresh air, of much needed fresh air. The team's hitting coach from this past season has jumped ship, or at least seen the error of his ways, and returned to the Aggies with considerable player support. And many of the players who jumped into the transfer portal have withdrawn from it and returned to play in College Station. Michael Early is the new head coach of the Aggies, and if the university can protect itself from the future backroom deals and good choices, or from future backroom deals, and good choices are being made to fill the remaining coaching positions, the strength and longevity of the Aggies baseball program will cement itself as a consistent contender. Now, let me address the transfer portal itself. I see the need to have such a program in place, especially for those student athletes who find themselves getting cheated out of a fair opportunity to develop in a way that gives them the best opportunity to advance to the next level of sport. Now, some may be on the wrong end of a program that violated recruiting rules or boosters donating too much incentive at athletic departments. Now, this portal can, like everything else, can be abused. Now, I believe that the system could be fixed if the NCAA stepped in and established regulations. There would have to be extenuating circumstances involving scholarship loss, other financial hardships, and developmental issues arising from problems with the coaching staff. Even then, I would suggest some form of mediation with the universities involved. There may not be an easy solution for the issue at hand, but what this humble, uneducated fan sees is a rising epidemic on the storm front. If this is not remedied soon, there will be more and more problems that will rival the worst free agency markets at the professional level. Maybe it'll take mid-season transfers and championship contending schools losing out on hardware and money before the issues are properly addressed. I don't know. But to see what happened, to see what transpired over the course of a week and a half since the conclusion of the Men's World Series final, it's a black eye on college baseball. It's a black eye for the sport of baseball itself. And it's an embarrassment for the University of Texas. I know that a lot of Longhorn fans are praising Schlossnagel for sticking it to the Aggies one more time. Don't worry. The University of Texas, they're going to get their opportunities. They're joining the SEC this year. We're going to become interconference rivals again. We're going to harken back to the days of the old Southwestern Classic, where UT and A&M played each other for bragging rights. As far as football is concerned, Texas definitely has a leg up over the Aggies in that department. Recruiting can go a long, long way. But as far as the other sports are concerned, especially baseball, University of Texas, the way that I see it, they've got a long road ahead of them. These players felt at the time that their best opportunity to return to the College World Series was going to be under the guidance of Coach I'm just going to call him Schlong because he's just acting like a complete dick. But a majority of them, after Michael Early returned to the good graces of the 12th man to coach the team, there's going to be familiarity there. And again, as long as there are good decisions being made to fill the remaining vacancies on that coaching staff, from the bench coach all the way down to the pitching coach, I believe that the Aggies have a very good chance of running it back. Those young men, those players, they were written off before the Super Regionals when Montgomery went down with I believe it was a foot injury. He broke his ankle. They played through an incredible amount of adversity. They won every game up until game 2 of the final. They were on a 9-game winning streak. And that went all the way back to the regional rounds, not the super and regional, but the regional rounds. And then when they were host to the super regional, they won every game that they needed to win, not looking back until they got to the final against Tennessee. That should have been an amazing series. Games 2 and 3, if necessary, should have been played a lot more closely than they were. Do I find fault on the part of the player? Yeah, I do. To a degree. They had the opportunity to show up, show out. Definitely not swing at those outside sliders that were down and away. However, there's a lot to be said when you look back at the dugout for the guy giving you signals and then you have absolutely no faith in him. Anybody from a military background will tell you that if you don't believe in your leadership, you will not be willing to crawl to the 7 circles of hell for them. Why is there an echo? I hear an echo, but anyways.
I got my mic off, so.
You know, I believe that the Aggies are well on their way to fixing the damage that was created by Schlossnagel. And, you know, we like to try to better ourselves as human beings by not wishing ill upon people, not wishing ill upon, you know, the outgoing coaching staff. But Mr. Schlossnagel, I hope that you better get used to having the eyes of Texas upon you, because they're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks when you don't deliver. I hope you understand that. And then you're forced to look back and recall the decision that you made to take yet another coaching job after you had promised that this was the job that you were going to take, to not take another job. That's the end of my rant. I admittedly, as an Aggie fan, I was I was upset. I was pissed. It made it really kind of hard to buy into what now. You know, it really felt like a betrayal, especially when the coach.
It really was a betrayal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, especially when the coach is adamant about being this was going to be his last job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically to the point where it's like every company I've worked for. Oh yeah, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Why are you lotioning up your freaking fingers? Are you?
Well, Braden Montgomery, he was hurt and didn't get to play during the actual round robin tournament, the double elimination tournament in Omaha, because of that broken foot.
Yeah.
But yet, even though he's injured right now, he is projected to go 6th overall in this year's MLB draft.
Yeah.
That's and even with that loss of offensive output, the Aggies managed to make it to the first college men's World Series final in school history.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the last time that we see Texas A&M in the final. Now, it's going to be years before we see a final without an SEC team in it, because the SEC, their baseball programs have finally caught up with the rest of the world, and they're starting to play good baseball.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see more and more players that are incredibly talented coming out of places other than California.
Well, how many players are they gonna that are still gonna be in the same season?
Well, like I said,
How
a majority. I think for say maybe just a couple of the players that entered the transfer portal to go to Texas, withdrew from the portal. They're going to come back to A&M because they want to play for Coach Early.
Yeah, and we discussed this like last week on the fact of what was happening, and we even said is like if it was that whole paying the college players.
Yeah,
And
the NIL rules really. I mean, at a certain point, yeah, I believe that players sacrificing their bodies, making millions for the universities that they're playing for, they should receive some form of compensation. But where I think that the line needs to be drawn is that you start hearing stories and you start seeing reports of and Max, you can back me up on this. There are players in college that are making more money now than they will ever make in the professional level. And that is because boosters, that is because alumni groups, that is because universities are now allowed to pay their players. And a lot of this came about because of all things, jersey sales and video game likenesses.
yeah,
So you guys remember NCAA football, right? EA Sports, right?
mhm.
Last year that it was out was like 14, right?
Yeah.
They had there was a couple of the college players in that game that had likenesses on there. There was last names on those jerseys though. But none of the players were getting compensated for their likenesses. None of the players were getting compensated for the use of their name. And that's where that outcry came from initially. And I was on board with that. Like, hey, compensate these players for their for the use of their likenesses, especially with college football 25 fixing to come out. With the way that graphics are nowadays on video games, we're able to see more detailed, more accurate likenesses of the players' faces and things like that.
Oh yeah, and
Almost photorealistic.
well,
Yeah,
just to tell you how much, and this is going to be in here, how much AI and everything is coming fruition. There's literally Instagram pages that people are getting. A guy got fed up with models, so now he manages an AI model that he made himself, and he's getting like $10,000 a month. And there's even like accounts for like Oscar Foxtrot that they're just putting AI and making videos that way.
Mm-hmm.
So these actual players need to be compensated for their likenesses, even and even if it's like AI, like they put the name on the jersey and everything like that, they should be compensated.
Right. And I think AI is going to it's going to come to a head at some point because, we're looking at, I mean, AI is still a long way off as far as like its authenticity and believability.
Oh,
no. Well, no, let me finish.
Go ahead, and I'll.
And I think a lot of it is because, like, okay, so I know that you've seen them on Facebook and different social media platforms where they take great IPs and they were like, well, what if this was produced in the 50s kind of a thing, right? And you see like Star Wars if it had been made in the 50s kind of a deal. But I mean, as far as some of the lower end AI programs that are available out there, they're still kind of still kind of a ways off. You see them trying to do deep fakes with a lot of like celebrities and politicians. And if you watch very carefully and you know what to look for, you can spot the kind of, the little hiccups, just whether it be like a muscle twitch or a mannerism or something about the timing between the mouth opening and you hearing something that's supposed to come out when the mouth is in that shape. Something just gets a little bit off. But or if you listen to somebody long enough, you kind of get a feel for their pentameter, right? Kind of their pacing.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. AI is actually getting really, really, really good. And it's to the point to where Tyler Perry, he was about to make an $800 million
now we're at
studio.
GPT-4 as far as its technology
Yeah.
goes.
And I'm trying to
At least
find
for
it.
the civilian population.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. They did a video of downtown Japan on.
Well, there was that
so realistic.
There was a principal up in the Northeast. I don't remember which school district he was in, but they had all these video recordings of him saying these like horrendously racist things and everything, and they went after him hard. And then it ended up like they were going to make a civil rights case out of it. So they ended up giving it to the FBI lab. Whole thing was fake. Whole thing was AI, and it was done by one of I think a coach that he had fired or something like that.
Yeah.
Disgruntled, and they made up all this stuff, and he ended up losing it. Like he had to leave. He ended up winning the case and everything, but yeah, it was all based on AI.
Okay, I'm about to show you the new AI that's just about to come out, and watch this stuff. Now, you're right, Johnny. There's still a little bit of discrepancies and everything, but look at the detail and everything, and this is just everything coming forward. But if you look at it, this is people's that was making holds. Like I said, Tyler Perry was going to make a $800 million studio, and this came out, and they scrapped it. He scrapped a $800 million studio because of something like this. You're right. There's a little bit of discrepancies in it a little bit, but look at the detail even on her face right now. It looks like she has like pimples and everything, all kinds of stuff. The hair.
Yeah, if you look at her mannerisms, though, I mean, it's still just a little bit too kind of.
No, you're right,
and I know that I'm splitting your hairs here. I know. I'm not a big fan of the AI. I'm not. I mean, for certain like applications, like I'm trying to figure out like a celebrity voice generator, just for our content though, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's like $40 a year, and I can get like
there was
20,000.
A few years back, if I'm not mistaken, that Tom Cruise AI that had everybody fooled, and nobody knew the
Well, no,
difference.
that wasn't AI. No, that was actually a doppelganger. This guy, it was a deep fake.
What it was.
Yeah, it was deep faking. Yeah, and
But it
deep
was definitely
faking
Tom Cruise
came to the forefront.
AI. Couldn't tell the difference.
Deep faking really people
Deep
really
fake.
didn't know deep faking existed until the Mandalorian season 3 finale came out.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody's freaking out. And I mean, and you saw like some of it, like Disney was spearheading a lot of this with Grand Moff Tarkin in what was Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then doing the same thing with Princess Leia. But it at a certain point, the entertainment industry is going to become defunct.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be it's going to be all ran by like 3 or 4 heavy mouth breathing, stained wife beater wearing dudes in a smoke filled room somewhere, just punching in prompts. I mean, that's all it's going to be down to.
Here's a lighter side. Okay. Both good and bad and everything like that. Here's the bad. The bad side is you're going to get a lot of content coming out that is trash. People think they have intelligent enough that they're good. They're narcissists and everything, and they believe they have the creative mindset, and we should be paying attention to them.
Right.
Okay? You're gonna have that side. On the good side, you're going to have things that come out that these people would never been noticed because of the basic fact of the oligarchs and freaking Hollywood wouldn't touch them because God forbid they have a different mindset of how they want stuff to be done. And they're going to be making these AI content. For sci-fi right now, I'm not looking for movies. I'm not looking for TV shows. You know what I subscribe to and I love? It's this channel called Dust. Dude, the stuff. Yeah, it's still Sci-Fi Channel, but they're little skits, and they are.
You better be
awesome.
subscribed to Angry Me Productions.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, but the difference there is, Max, is that we try to keep it real. You know, I mean, I have been playing around for like the last couple of weeks with a rough outline premise to, I don't know, write a short story. I'm not talking novel at all. I just want something that I can like throw up on Amazon and potentially give away for free on Stuff Your Kindle Day kind of a thing. But the point, I think that the point that, because I'm the same way with you, as far as you're concerned, David, with my sci-fi content that I'm consuming, it's either stuff that's already been established, you know, like today or yesterday and today, I sat and I watched the theatrical release for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, I know that I'm going to go see it in a week and a half on the big screen for its re-release. I don't care. I love that movie.
Yeah,
I cannot get enough of it. It's the nostalgia. It's the staying power that movie has because of the type of production that it was. It didn't rely heavily on special effects as it did visual effects. And now visual effects, there's a difference. Okay, this was back in the day when, you know, they used models. You know,
yeah.
I mean, just like the original Star Trek movies, the first 6 movies. But those were filming models. Okay. The Constitution refit, I mean, the one that they filmed with, that sumbitch is 6 feet long.
Yeah.
And the only one that exists anymore is sitting in the lobby of Amazon's headquarters because Jeff Bezos bought it.
Yeah.
You know,
Museum.
yeah, it belongs in a museum. Yeah. That's my best Harrison Ford. I'm sorry. But,
Not bad.
you know, the stuff that's coming out now, it's a slap in the face, you know, and you know, yeah. So here I'm just gonna do this real quick. So
Yes.
and
He was ready.
I got my
Love
Starfleet Academy t-shirt on, right?
Love it.
Oh, you had to do it, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, there we go. But
That's hot.
That's
you know,
awesome.
the end of Picard season 3 primed everything, set it up beautifully to transition into what should have
Are we
been Star
gonna
Trek
be
Legacy.
required to salute you now, or is that still?
Jesus
man.
Christ, Max.
There's no Oakley
You want
thrusters
the
on this
captain?
cap.
Only with one
there's
finger.
there's no command here. I'm lower deck all the way, bro.
Yeah, you only need to use one finger.
Yeah, see.
No, we gotta do the double salute.
So
Give the Spaceballs.
Mary Metalis is the showrunner for Star Trek, set it up beautifully to transition from Star Trek Picard to Star Trek Legacy, which would have continued following the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, right? Paramount basically had this thing gift wrapped to them with a big shiny bow, right? We're talking plasma induced wrapping paper that sparkled, right? I mean, we're talking old school warp effects whenever it was put into, put on the package, right? It was no brainer, right? What do they give us? They give us the travesty that is Star Trek Discovery Season 5. They tell us that instead of Star Trek Legacy, hey, we're going to go all the way back. We're going to use Star Trek Discovery as a springboard. And instead of going back to the 25th century, we're going to go to the 32nd century and we're going to start rebuilding Starfleet. Like, really?
How many
Who
times
gives a
has that
fuck?
been done?
Well, they can't honestly, they can't come up with newer material.
No, and here's the thing, because that's not what people want. There was even a I mean, there was a petition that I signed. Okay, I was one of the, I think it was like 450,000 plus signatures begging Paramount to greenlight Star Trek Legacy.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, they already had the first, like budding storylines, right? I mean, if you remember from the finale of Picard season 3, Q makes an appearance in Jack Crusher's room, telling him that the trial of man has just begun.
yeah.
I mean, hello. That's basically how Star Trek: The Next Generation started. Is it a little bit of a reboot there? Yeah, kind of. It's a little Force Awakens, just copy and paste from A New Hope. I get it. But the premise, the fact that it's on a new starship, well, I say new. It was the Titan A. They rechristened it the Enterprise, whatever. Still a sexy ass ship.
Yeah, exactly. Be that.
We've got a fan favorite in command of the Enterprise, 7 of 9. We've got Geordi's daughter as the pilot of the Enterprise. We've got the command. We've got the Enterprise core, right? The ability to set this up as the next long-running series and potentially springboard that into very high-value production, high-budget production Star Trek movies. And I think that just like with Star Wars, kind of getting kicked around and getting watered down and everybody just kind of burnt out on a galaxy far, far away, Star Trek fans have been inundated with the same kind of treatment with subpar, content.
Well, it's a flood of the market.
It is, and that's why I say it's
You have
inundated.
this IP. You have this IP. Let it be Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, anything nerd and everything. Because with nerd, we'll buy almost fucking anything. But if you give us watered down product, we're not going to like it. I mean, look at Dark City. Dark City is a good example. Good movie. Didn't get it following starting out.
Oh, you mean Sin City?
Huh?
You mean Sin City back in the day?
No, Dark City.
Dark City, okay.
Dark City with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh yeah. I thought.
Yeah. See,
I thought
a
you were
lot of
talking
people
about
don't know.
Color
Sleep.
Yeah, you go watch it again. It was a great movie. I watched it in theaters. I thought it was phenomenal, and it was it was Guttoro's a great storyteller, director, and he basically made that whole movie, and it was weird, but you look at it now, you're like, it's not, it didn't get the preparation or popularity when it first came out, but it was a damn good movie. Damn good. It was original.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We barely have that anymore.
Yeah, original content. It's almost kind of like a lost art.
That's a dirty word.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Hollywood, and you see these articles just kind of on the back end of websites nowadays. Talking about Paramount's basically kind of having a fire sale.
Yeah.
There's rumors that they're going to close down their Hollywood lot, and I'm like, man, you know, do we have streaming to blame for this? Partly, right? And let me defend that point. Streaming has really streaming has made the availability of pirating greater.
More convenient.
Yeah, it's more convenient to pirate things because now you just got one guy paying for an account and he's downloading all the content on that platform, and then they're replicating it, sending it out to like Pirate Bay and things like that. So yeah, they're losing money that way. But you know, if people here's the thing. Fans, dedicated fans, you will not find a more dedicated fan base than those of the fantasy and science fiction world.
Other than anime.
Well, other than anime, right? You know, anime is like, I don't know, it's a choice, but fantasy sci-fi,
the people the watch
fantasy and sci-fi, fantasy and sci-fi is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a
You
way
can kind of
of
blur the lines a little bit between fantasy, sci-fi, and anime slightly,
Slight-
depending on what it is. Like
slight.
Lego Star
True.
Wars, for example,
But
in a form of an animated
well, we're talking about more
TV show.
Japanese animation, like Sword
Like
Art Online. We're talking about Urotsuki Doji. We're talking about Cowboy Bebop. We're talking about My Hero Academia, things like that.
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter. You know, but and for the life of me, I'm trying to get my boys to watch Trigun because Vash the Stampede, hands down, best protagonist ever, next to Spike Spiegel. Come on, kidding me. Anyways, but you know, with sci-fi, I mean, especially science fiction fans, okay, we have our groups have labels. You know, you've got the brown coats, you've got Trekkies, you've got Jedi, you've got Sith, you've got Imperial. You know, they
There's
even break down into, you know, bounty hunters. You know, and they diversify their cosplay, right? I mean, these guys we're armed with things like 3D printers and you know, soldering irons, things like that, where you know, where they're making full on screen accurate, lore accurate, you know, accurate weapons and armor. I mean, you're seeing guys that stand 5'8", but when they go to a comic book convention, they can walk up to Steve Downs dressed as the 6'4" Master Chief, John Sierra 117, and get his autograph, and he'd be impressed with the dedication
right
to that alter ego.
Yeah, and I've had a guy that does cosplay stuff, Andy, and I mean, he does it for his therapy and everything, but his stuff, we met him up at that one con we did.
Yeah, and they had members of the 501st.
Yeah, but this guy was on his own. I can bring up. Yes,
I mean, just the ingenuity that some of these people come up with to recreate studio props. We're looking at, you know, there's going to have to be a complete revolt from fan bases to, you know, against these studios pumping out basically rubber stamped lazy writing. I mean, that's all it boils down to. Is, I mean, the only thing that I can hear in my head when I think about the crap, the swill that's being pushed out these days is, you know, I all I can hear is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool going, "That's just lazy writing." And
look at it's everybody's become so risk averse, like they're not willing to take a chance. And that was one of the things I was going to say about anime is it pushes the limit with everything it comes out with.
Yeah,
Everything pushes that line.
Look
Whereas now it's become, and with any, I would say, Western filmmaking in any way, they're not willing to push that line. We need to be safety because it's all about, they're chasing the dollar so much that people are just not going anymore because
and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm very excited and very much looking forward to go seeing the 4-part epic that Kevin Costner just put out.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I want to see Horizon in a bad way.
Yes, I'm gonna go see that this week.
But he financed that epic himself.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why him and Taylor Sheridan got into a pissing contest over scheduling for the second half of season 5 of Yellowstone. But
she's not gonna be in it anymore. Kevin Costner said no.
Yeah, he's already come out and said, "Yeah, I'm not coming back," and that's a shame, because he himself in an earlier interview said that he really wanted to kind of figure out where John Dutton's character was going to go.
Yep.
So did and I hate it for the rest of the cast. I really do, because these people have put years into these characters, and with the sporadic filming schedule that Taylor Sheridan is demanding of these actors, it's ridiculous. The guy that plays Jimmy in Yellowstone, he played a reporter in Civil War. And I was like, as soon as I saw him come up on the screen, I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Jimmy. But, I think what it's going to end up boiling down to is that it's going to take these studios just really, before I make this point, there's a huge disconnect between the targeted audience and what's being put out. Because the studio owners, the producers, the directors, and even the writers' rooms, they have absolutely no idea. You're seeing what we're kind of being forced to digest these days is, the pushing of an agenda, and it's not.
Well, okay.
Real quick.
Okay, go.
Real quick. So when I say they're pushing an agenda, you look at Disney movies, you look at, it's even bled itself over into things like Grey's Anatomy or Station 19, Bridgerton, all written or produced by the same woman, Chandra, I think is her last name. It's pushing the alphabet. For lack of a better term, it's pushing the alphabet agenda, and they're veering from the source material, and that's one of the biggest reasons why Paramount Studios or Paramount Plus, when they released the first season of the live action Halo, the second that they had Master Chief take his helmet off on camera and reveal the face, bro, no. We tried to give it a fair shake. We got 2.5, 3 episodes into it, and we couldn't, because it wasn't Halo. And the same thing could be said for like Star Wars fans. We have that talk all the time off camera. But Star Wars is Star Wars and Trek is Trek. I get all that. But it's at what point are we willing to go down this road before we start hitting that bingo point where we can't come back? It's like, how far off the cliff? How far off the cliff does the revenue? How far off the cliff does the viewership numbers have to fall before producers and directors and owners and showrunners start going, oh shit, I think I fucked this up?
Okay, this is what happened. This is what really happened. Okay. Disney, what is Disney originally known for? What are most of their products known to?
Animation.
Yeah. MICKYMOUSE.
Animation, yes, but most of their stuff is, what is it geared for though? Most of the stuff
it's supposed to be geared for
animation. Yeah.
Okay, no, okay, not the animation. What is a lot of the products being
Children.
to? What is a lot of the products specifically in before 2000?
Little girls.
Exactly. That was their problem. Okay. The reason why they started buying up other IPs in the early 2000s was the basic fact of they wanted to have everything geared to boys. They want to have boys have their product. Now, saying that, what had happened is they tried it on their own with Toy Story. They tried it on their own with The Incredibles. With Incredibles was good. Not gonna dog Incredibles is really good. But what they ended up doing is they bought these IPs that were quote unquote meant for boys. Okay. Comic books and Star Wars was known for the male gender. Okay. Now, going after that, what they wanted to do was they wanted to include girls. I'm not saying, hey, Star Wars shouldn't be for girls, the comics shouldn't be girls. No, it should be for everybody. But they just wanted to gear it for everybody. And they were trying to make everybody happy and just not go out and make a good storyline.
Right. But then you get people like Kathleen Kennedy, who she basically came in and wanted to reinvent the wheel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, her whole idea is I'm a woman. George Lucas chose me. We're going to make it more women. Now, there's a woman director that's about to make a Star Wars movie that I kind of want to see, X-Wing. And the person that's directing that is the same woman that directed Wonder Woman. I fucking can't remember her name, though. And I apologize for that.
That's all well and good. Okay.
Yeah.
But the problem that a lot of fan bases have is that they veer from the source material. Okay. Yes. They take ideas that were pitched by people that have no inkling.
Yeah. Okay. The whole outline.
The word lore and the word canon are thrown about a lot when we're talking about discussions with fan bases. Okay.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. You have these people that were actually in interviews, and get this. Did you know Anakin Skywalker destroyed the first Death Star?
And he said it multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay. It's getting people. Okay. A lot of people are like going down on the Acolyte and saying it's a horrible, horrible thing, blah, blah, blah. It's XYZ, XYZ. Yes. Should they pick somebody that was gonna do something to the point to where they should know what the IP is and what you do? No, we want an original idea. Here's the thing. You're using an IP. You should have like some kind of inkling of what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, the Star Wars alone, just from novelizations, and we established on an episode about a month ago that the novels in the Star Wars universe are canon. Okay, yeah. So
now
when they're talking about the Acolyte, everybody's talking about, oh, so this is going to be like an Old Republic type production,
High Republic,
or High Republic, right?
Yeah, they're calling it High Republic, but it's the Old Republic.
But still.
No, there's a specific time frame.
The amount, regardless as to what time period they're looking for. Okay, the amount of material that's out there. I mean, seriously, how hard is it to just kind of go based on sales? This is the more popular story arc, right? Use that.
Yeah, like Revan. Yeah, that fucking storyline is great.
Bring that to life. Okay, you can bring in no-name actors. You can bring in A-list actors. Nobody cares. What we're looking for, what we're yearning for, what we desire as a fan base is authenticity and genuine stewardship of the IP, and we're not getting that. We're even seeing that with just the oversaturation of Marvel product.
It's all products that are put
Yeah,
out.
I mean, all of the IPs, it doesn't matter who owns it. Paramount, CBS Studios owning Star Wars or Star Trek rather, and everybody, Disney owns everything else in the world. But
Warner Brothers with their DC universe.
Yeah, Warner Brothers with their DC universe, but which for that being said, really the only DC movie that I'm even remotely looking forward to in the next couple of years is Batman Part 2.
Oh yeah, the Batman Part 2.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's another thing, and you have to go back on, and luckily they're doing interviews on podcasts where they're trying to explain themselves what they want. Zack Snyder is one of the. I'm sorry, he does wonderful work. Okay, and Rebel Moon is still kind of iffy for me, but
it's horrible.
It is kind of horrible. But he even said in an interview with Joe Rogan, he's like, I wanted to make the Dark Knight series from Zach. I can't remember his name now. It's blank me. Who did 300? Who's the writer? Huh? No, the comic book.
Oh, Frank Miller?
Yeah, Frank Miller. Frank Miller did Dark Knight. It was old Batman and everything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you saw big points of it in Batman versus v Superman, but he wanted to do the Dark Knight. He got to do the fight between Batman and Superman, and that's about it. And he did the whole thing to where Superman got hit by a nuclear missile. That was in the Dark Knight comic book, and he got rejuvenated by the sun. He did that. If you actually read that comic book or watched the animated movie, which is basically the same thing. Okay. The only way you're going to get these great comics to a viewing audience is doing it animated. You could do live action, but apparently the only way they can do it is through animation. Okay. Because if you watch part 1 and part 2, that's actually the comic book. You can read it. It's almost word for word.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that movie for him, and that would have been great.
Right. But see, Chris made that point earlier that, anime is taking risks that the live action studios aren't willing to make.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm fine. I'm fine if DC wants to stick to or try to put out as much animated content as possible. Fine, great. Because I mean, you can push the limits, right? I mean, give us some of that nostalgic animation style, like a la the 90s animated Batman series, right?
Yeah.
Give us that. Fine. I will eat that up all day long. And we could probably even tolerate the occasional campiness of a Tim Burton-esque Batman style movie. But I mean, as far as like now with Marvel, with the MCU, what they were trying to do is they borrowed from certain source materials, and they created a new universe, and I understand that, right? It's the MCU. You have the MCU here, and you've got the source material comic storylines over here.
See, they were even willing, but that was the early years of the MCU. They were taking chances. Like, like Iron Man was a huge. Nobody knew about that.
Iron Man was a background character. Yeah, and they made him the centerpiece of the MCU.
Exactly, but that's what I mean by what you're willing to take those risks, and it paid off in a huge way. But then it started getting watered down because they kept getting safer and safer and safer, and then you start getting.
I don't think it was safer.
They stopped pushing the envelope.
I think what had happened is once you get a good product, and happens to everything. Once you get a good product and you start making money off of it, good fairy ideas, the idea fairy keeps on popping up and ruining it. It is every freaking movie. What happens is the producers on the show that get a title producer of that movie, and they're like, "Hey, I have this idea, and I think it's going to be really." I mean, lots of people doing like comedy, doing comedy when they're doing like a show, sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
A producer comes in and is like, "Hey, I think this joke could be really funny. I'm the producer. I put this joke in, and the joke fails. It's like, but I'm going to do it again. You're going to have to put another in there or another.
Deliver it right.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. The difference between, I mean, you think about the environment and the format, right? With stand-up comedy, joke didn't work. Try it in a different city. Maybe it'll work there where it bombed in this city, kind of a thing, and then you can incorporate that into your act. But with the sci-fi, with the fantasy, I mean, with the George R. Martin books for the Game of Thrones, and you see HBO was like, oh, we've got an IP, we got an original content idea. We're going to come up with a fucking prequel, and it's like, okay, they're going to bring in Matt Smith, and they're going to try to bring the Whovians into it, and they're like, oh, look, he's the 11th Doctor. This is going to be good, and they completely hose his character down.
Yeah,
and
again, when you're there, you have
that travesty that Amazon Studios tried to do with the Rings of Power. Oh, bro, that was horrible.
Like I said, they're not bad concepts. It's the execution, just
piss poor execution. Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, and Chris nailed it on the head, is studios not wanting to take the risk. And it's like, where's that cowardice coming from? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. It's cowardice. It's blatant cowardice.
Mm-hmm.
These studios and their inept ability to read the room. And why? How did we get from Iron Man to, hey, are we not going to talk about the huge fucking hand sticking out of the side of the earth at the end of the Eternals anymore? I mean, what's going on there?
Well, that movie failed, so they're gonna forget about that. No one talks about that.
It didn't happen.
Yeah,
happen.
And I'm like, okay, and yeah, it's true that fan bases of every franchise are, you've got your toxic sections of people. I mean, sports teams, even like,
oh yeah,
you've got the entire city of Philadelphia. I mean,
yeah, but it's one of those things. If they win or lose, they're still gonna riot.
Yeah,
where the toxicity comes in.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, you want to see a dumpster fire? Just give Philadelphia a chance to win anything at all, and you're going to light up the state of Pennsylvania for at least a day or two. But
here's the thing with that, though. If you think about it, you were hoping if they win and you bring out and you like collect as much insurance as you possibly can. You're like, the Eagles are about to win. I'm gonna
here's the
thing, to raise my insurance.
That would require me to buy property in Philadelphia, and I can't bring myself as a good Christian, God-fearing man to do that.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I mean, and to speak to Max's heritage, he would have to seclude himself for 7 days, according to the Torah, to make himself clean again.
Here's the sad truth about everything, guys, and I've been trying not to bring this up, but I've got family in Philly. I'm not proud of it, but
hey, you know what?
There.
Anyway,
it's like being from Texas. Okay, there are some of us who have had family that were born in Oklahoma. We try not to hold that against them.
Listen, I know people that live in Austin.
Have your family in Texas ever tried to grease you like a pole? Did that happen to you?
Okay, you got
because
well,
here's the thing: when our teams lose, we don't try to burn our cities to the ground.
No,
the next day.
We don't do that here in Kansas City either. We're
yeah, it doesn't happen in Kansas City. That's the reason why you're on the show.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
nothing like that happened, Max.
It's like Alice Cooper and his band, you know, during that scene during Wayne's World, when he's like, "You're in Milwaukee. You just keep driving, and you're still in Milwaukee." Yeah, and Mindy just handed me this note, just kind of like a thing, a little sidebar.
Ooh, late breaking.
Yeah, it's not news, but it's an idea, so we can get behind.
It's a good idea.
The country radio station down here in Houston, 100.3 The Bull. Every year around the end of June, they participate in this thing called 10,000 for the troops. Basically, it's, you know, write a letter writing campaign. You write letters of encouragement, or you fill out cards of encouragement, and then they have like spots where you can you know, hand these in, turn them in. And what they do is they gather them all up, they categorize them, and then they split them up and they send them off to different service members, either in CONUS, which is for Max and his civilian lay speak. It's the continental United States, or you get the people that are serving abroad. They get these letters from home, you know, saying how proud we are of you, and you know, we're behind you 100% kind of a thing. It's just something nice. Mindy's going to do it through her notary business next year. She's going to participate in that program. I think that's something we can put on our calendar and look ahead to. Being that 3/4 of us are veterans. Yeah, we can send it all here, and we can lump it up with our sponsors' letters and cards, and we can all send them off at the same time. But because they've got drop-off locations in the South Houston area. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, Max?
No, 1/4 of us got
Johnny. 1/4 of us has a lot of Call of Duty and Battlefield experience on Xbox and PlayStation. I'm not saying that makes any difference.
Okay, to that end, Max,
I'm talking Black
the only
Ops.
person who has ever effectively deployed a nuke.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys don't even know, okay?
Yeah, you guys. What Chris said. What Chris said.
Chris,
thank you, Chris.
The first time that I heard somebody actually, say like, what was it? I remember correctly. We were going to the Armed Forces Bowl one year, and we stopped at a restaurant to eat before the game. And this kid was at our table, and he was like, "Oh, y'all veterans?" We're like, "Yeah." And he was asking questions about the military. He legit, I am not kidding you, asked if combat was anything like Call of Duty.
It's exactly like it. Didn't you see Red Dawn?
And we kind of looked at him.
The original, or are we talking about the other one?
The original, Max. Goddamn! Don't bring up that piece of shit.
We were just like, huh? What do you mean? He's like, do you got a guy? I mean, like he legit was like, he was legit asking, do guys slide a lot? We're like, no. No,
our knees are always so bad.
Like
they also
you understand? Like, we sit there and try to explain to him, like, you get real world soldiers try to take their training, their real world tactical training, and apply it to Call of Duty, and we get our asses handed to us. Because you get guys that are jumping around all day, sliding all day long. I mean, and they're buffing out these weapons.
They have like
hey kid, the most that you're gonna get is going to be maybe a suppressed M4, and that depends on the unit you go to. Most of the time,
like aimbot
hand-me-downs where the takedown and the pivot pins are so wallered out that your upper and lower receivers don't fucking stay together when you pull the trigger. You get so much slop, it's not even funny. Like
Johnny,
and that sidearm that you have, oh, that's a Beretta 9mm.
Oh God, Johnny, what? It's military grade. It's the best they got.
Yeah, military grade is the greatest thing,
right? When Ford came out with those military grade bodies, I sat there and I looked at, when those came out, I was still married to my last wife. I looked at her, I was like, so they'll shred if you sneeze on them.
Yeah.
You hit a speed bump too hard, you're gonna deadline that thing. You're gonna get a class 2 leak on the front differential. It's gonna be great. And she
Dude,
looked at me like, what are you talking about?
I had a guy, and I bought this jacket. It was a nice jacket. It just broke way too easy, like most of the jackets I get. But he goes up because it was a military jacket, and all the zippers broke on it. He's like, "Oh, that's a nice jacket. Is it military grade? Because you're probably service and everything. Is it military grade? It's the best grade." I'm like, I thought he was joking.
Listen,
I was like,
the only thing that came out that was military grade that was actually worth a shit
was
Velcro.
the fucking whoopee.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
That is the only thing that is military grade that is worth a shit.
Yes.
Can I add one more thing to military grade? Even though I am not ex-military and no Call of
Absolutely.
Duty and Battlefield does not count. During my career as a technician, both on civilian vehicles and the occasional police vehicle, while I was in Greenwood, Missouri, which is just outside of Kansas City and Lee Summit, the small Greenwood Police Department, they received a CUCV, older one, and it comes equipped. That one had a 6.5 liter Detroit diesel engine in it, which, if I'm not mistaken, are still being put in the Hummers as of this day.
Yeah,
from
but here's
Detroit.
the thing, Max. They don't run diesel fuel in those military engines. They put JP8 in them.
Yeah.
It's jet fuel.
Yep.
It burns cleaner, but you will go through glow plugs like nobody's business.
Which brings me to the military grade. So they're running the
These are the-
6.5.
The only other piece of TA50, which is gear that came out that I would swear by. And Chris, I know you know what I'm about. When I say this, your head's going to explode. The field jacket liner.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh
smoking.
yes. Oh man, I'm telling you that is the only thing that gives the Whoopie a run for its money.
And it's because it's made out of the same material.
Yeah, it is.
Right, exactly.
So
Go ahead. Did you finish up, Max?
No, I was just saying that the ones that they had obviously weren't new, and this has been about almost 10 years ago. But digging into these CUCVs with those 6.5 diesels made by Detroit, they were built a lot more durably, a lot tougher, not because they were obviously military vehicles, but just the way that they were designed to keep what's under the hood safe and everything protected was amazing. So that was the one military type vehicle that I had an opportunity to work on multiple times, and compared to like a regular Detroit 6.2 or 6.5 before they went in and got with the Duramax, it's
it's all
God bless
well
the
and good.
military.
Military grade is the greatest thing since sliced bread until Haji decides to attach a cell phone to a fucking 105 round.
Yeah.
And bury it into the road.
Yep. That is very true.
By the way, one last sports news, because we didn't really do sports on this.
Oh wait,
So,
we're doing a
I'm
sports
gonna
show,
jump into
Rick?
NASCAR here in a minute. I'm trying to get Colin to freaking bring his ass
Okay.
down.
Well, I got okay. I'll do the
This
NFL
is our
news.
sports off season. So
NFL plan to overturn a Sunday ticket verdict could involve the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, that's going to be unfortunate because the NFL is going to get told to get fucked and stay fucked. I mean, the best that they can do is maybe tie settlement up in litigation for, I don't know, the next couple of years, but until it gets on the Supreme Court's docket. But once it hits the Supreme Court, if it gets that far, I mean, you could get a judge somewhere on the line that goes, I'm going to hear this and I'm going to rule in favor of the plan. Fine. That's all well and good. And the NFL, even though they've got deep pockets, they only have so many. They've got a very finite amount of appeals.
Yeah,
and finite amount of resources that they can throw at this to try to get it overturned. But I really, honestly, if anything, I know. I'm sorry. If anything else, I don't see them getting this reversed. I see them getting like a lower amount. Being ordered.
Well, they already got the lower amount because it was originally 7.2 billion.
Okay.
So, but the last week,
Kinda,
what we're actually
yeah,
talking about is last week, $4.7 billion jury verdict against the NFL and the Sunday ticket class action lawsuit was a stunning defeat for a league not accustomed to losing. In the coming weeks, month, and probably years, NFL will hope to legal system version and instant replay reverse of this verdict. So, yeah, they're already in the actions and everything. This is just, and I've been saying this for even with the MLB, their version of the Sunday ticket. What is it again, Johnny?
The MLB, it's just the MLB premium package.
Yeah. I've been saying this again. If you're paying, I mean, nowadays the NFL Sunday ticket it's like $124. I mean, if you're getting it for free, I mean, you get yours for free from T-Mobile for the MLB. But if you're paying for it, you shouldn't have blackouts on any of the shows. Any of them.
That you will not get an argument out of me about.
We are an absolute lockstep on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I want,
it's not like
nails in the soles of our boots, dude, because that is some high stepping right there.
Yeah,
you will not get an argument at all. But
if you pay for a premium service, even like YouTube Premium, they don't not allow you to look at certain things. You're allowed to look at whatever you choose to view, watch, subscribe to, etc. They don't sit there and tell you what you can and can't do. You're paying for it, you do what you want.
Right. We have gone down that rabbit hole so far tonight. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring Colin in. We're going to do his segment. We're going to jump into NASCAR real quick. After that, there wasn't a whole lot of sports news happening. I mean, the All-Star game the All-Star game is right around the corner.
So is the Olympics.
Yeah, and the Olympics. We'll get into the Olympics when the Olympics happen.
There's
I don't
only
lead up right now. I got to get Colin his headphones so he can hear what the hell's going on. I can get the microphone over here so that way he can hear. Don't point it this way because feedback and whatever. But say hi, Colin.
Hi.
What's up, Colin?
One of these days I'm going to get him to actually go, hi, Colin.
That would be awesome. I mean, he is doing comedy, and that would be comedy.
It would be comedic. Yes, it would. Oh, yes. We took him to the beach for a couple of hours today, and now he is absolutely wiped.
When I go to the beach,
but
I'm just
tired after. I'm the one that mows the grass every 2 to 3 days, and I went out there in the garage in the 96-degree heat yesterday and the 85% humidity, and 3/4 of the way rearranged and reorganized my garage. But I'm still here. Effervescent as ever.
I don't know about that.
Look, Dave, you can sit there all you want with your gators, but I mean, you're not going to beat it, dude. You're just not. I'm just saying. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was teaching someone how to use a bolt action rifle today. He wasn't getting it. So,
hey, lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That being said,
it was his first time using a bolt action. So,
were you gentle with him at least?
I took him out in the back of the shed. So no.
Hey.
Boy. So we're gonna get an off-color version of you at some point 9 months down the road.
I hope not.
Or is it going to be like a really bad spinoff or a bootleg of the Tenacious D miniseries on HBO where somebody has a
more
butt
Oz,
like you.
More Oz.
Oh, more Oz. Okay. Like, may I please fuck my wife, sir? Like, no. Okay. Rising from the smoke. in haze of desolation. It's much too foggy. But it's a Ronin, bent on wrongdoing that which has been said right. But here, for your ears and your eyes, even to feast upon, I mean, it's somebody's genetic code. But ladies, gentlemen, angry faithful, all ages, it's that time again for joke time with Colin. Feel like being like Kermit the Frog. Hey.
What's worse than one bee sting? Two bee stings. What's worse than two bee stings? The Holocaust. But you want to know what's worse than the Holocaust? Three bee stings.
Oh God.
Oh man.
It was coming. I knew it was coming.
I'm sorry, Max.
No, I know that Colin has, or Israel has Colin's full support, so I'm not even worried about it.
Okay, see, there you go.
There you go.
God, if he's chuckling beforehand.
How did Helen Keller break her arm while in the car? Trying to read a stop sign while going 80.
Damn, that's a tough woman if all she did was break her arm. Holy that is a good one.
Oh my.
That's fantastic.
How did Helen Keller pierce her ear? Going through the stapler.
God. Oh man.
As long as it was a red swing line stapler, I think we'll allow it. No, nobody. David, please tell me you've at least seen Office Space.
Yes, I've seen Office Space.
It's my stapler.
My stapler here.
I'm gonna write his face
My stapler.
I'm still paying customer.
I haven't got.
I will burn this place to the ground.
They brought me down here into the basement. They laughed at me.
And the dude ended up getting all the money.
Yeah. Is there, I would like another Mai Tai, please. Please tell me you've got some more.
I swear I will burn this place to the ground.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why did Helen Keller eat her poop? She thought it was a candy bar.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
You got some of that on my mouth, Colin. Shit.
Man. That was a choice.
It was a bit nutty. Basil, this coffee tastes like shit.
Smells like shit. It's because it is shit, Austin. Oh, good that it's not just me.
I think I made him shit his pants.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
What? We've gone too far.
No, bro. No. Let me see this.
There's more.
And who talked about institutionalization not being around in the United States anymore?
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
This one right here. It's a combination of humor and sports.
I've seen this one, but I've never understood.
Do you want me to tell it?
Yeah, I never understood this one.
What do you call a tennis match between Helen Keller and Stevie Wonder? Endless love.
Oh my god.
See, that works on two different levels.
Oh, God.
Like love 40, love 30, love 15 as you score the tennis game in love.
Like I said last week, at least you know they're handicapped.
Oh, y'all. Speaking of handicaps, pray for me because I am. I'm gonna go torture myself with another 18 holes in the morning. Oh my god, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So
You tried.
I took Colin last week to the golf course, and this was a
Didn't go very well.
dude. I had played. No, I had played, I had
Did
played
you
in a
wreck the
year.
go-kart?
I hadn't played in a year and a half. Right. He got to drive the cart. That was an adventure for the first couple of holes. Right. You know, like I had to get onto him. I'm like sitting there looking for my ball. I'm like, stop, fucking stop. You know, like, there's no feathering the throttle. There's no feathering the throttle at all. It's like either it's on the floor or not at all. Right.
Yep.
I'm actually in the tee box on a couple of holes. You know, I started my backswing and he's over there kind of goosing the throttle on the golf cart, and I hear that in my backswing. I have to stop, and I look at him. I'm like, don't fucking do that. Not during my backswing. Would you stop? And you know, there was like, we were on the back nine. I think we were like hole 16 or 17, and there's water alongside the tee box, right? And he's doing that again, and I hear it because he thinks he's trying to be slick. I look over at him. I said, "You do that again, I'm going to fucking throw you in there with the Gators." And he stopped. He took his foot off of the pedal, and I'm just like, "Oh, holy shit, dude!" I mean, in all transparency, I shot a 99. I mean, hey, on the plus side, I parred a couple of holes.
It was in the 90s, but it was
Yeah, it was in the 90s. Yeah, I think it was a 99.
Triple digits.
7.
I mean, I broke 100, so you know, there's that. But I mean, not having played for a year and a half, you know, I went to the range because I was like, I kind of want to just kind of get a feel for it and see what kind of a day I'm going to have. My slice that I had fixed the last time that I was playing kind of showed up a little bit, not too bad. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So I pulled my 3-iron or 3-wood out, 5-wood out. And I'm trying to hit off the deck with those. And like, I'm standing up in my swing and I'm topping the shit out of the ball, right? Just goes, boop, boop, just kind of dribbles 25 yards. I'm like, yeah, today's going to suck. And then I'm like irons, like the iron I was hitting the best, the most consistently was my 5. And I'm like, this is not going to work for me.
You could have been me. I mean,
No. Yeah. So I was like, hey, you want to try this? Right. And he's like, okay, we'll try it. Teed it up for him with the driver. Dude, he had all the slice. Right?
It's just whole 12-pack slice.
I mean, he caught that shit on sale and stocked up. Right. And, I mean, and it was the good stuff. It was the orange slice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right. I forget what hole it was. I think we were on the 11th. And I had shanked both of my tee shots. And I was like, fuck this hole, mark it a bogey. Right. And he was like, well, let me try. I was like, okay. I had discovered at that moment that the safest place on the golf course was directly behind Colin. Like, now, bear in mind, he's a baseball player by nature, right? When on his downswing, he dropped that back shoulder and bent that right leg in, like he was fixing to go for, you know, like he was fixing to start fishing for a pitch down in the zone, and he opened up that club face, and it almost went a full 90 degrees right off of the tee.
I kid you not. There's this guy.
Somebody in the parking lot.
The sound that the ball made coming off of the tee. Chris, have you ever been to one of those, like, you remember the old school rifle ranges where the targets, you know, we have to manually pop them up and then bring them back down?
Yeah.
So the sound that the popcorn, right? You know, the rounds popping, you know, over your head.
Right.
I shit you not. That's what this fucking ball sounded like. It screamed. It was like right over my head. And I'm kidding. I'm sitting perpendicular to him in the cart. Right?
Oh man.
And I'm like, holy balls. Like, I don't even know where that ball went. I just followed the sound.
I watched where it went.
Yeah.
I kid you not. This ball went right over this guy's head. That was like on the next hole or two. And it was really
Yeah, I mean, the guy was in the next fairway, right? And the ball went over that guy.
God damn.
Good Lord. And I was like, just put the driver back in the bag, son.
It's no.
in my defense. The
You know,
only way I know
I
how
was
to
like,
swing
because initially he had one of my
back.
Titleists, and I was like, no, give me that Titleist back. I reached in my bag and I got him one of like one of those junky Callaways that you find laying on the course somewhere because somebody lost their ball from the previous
Dig
round.
out of the pond.
I tossed him the Callaway. I was like, here, hit this. I was like, you're not losing one of my Titleists. Like, oh my God, dude. So, just like, yikes. So,
I only know how to swing a bat, and golf is.
I get it. I get it. It's an adjustment, but
At least he didn't learn how to do hockey.
Happy Gilmore style.
Might have been safer.
Yeah.
It might have been safer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The thing was, I tried like combining a baseball swing with a golf swing.
So, me being a good dad, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go back out and play next week. Do you want to go again? And he gives me that hesitation and that look. I had fun. I enjoyed spending time with you, but
here's the thing.
What?
Number one.
Tell them about how driving the cart for 18 holes just absolutely wiped you out.
I helped you when we got into the green. And
oh yes, I made him the obligatory pin boy. Like he had to pull the pin.
Don't you literally just stand there and hold your arm at 90 degrees and just lift up about 4 inches?
But like I wasn't.
Oh, and I had him keeping score on the scorecard. So yeah.
Johnny, what do you think you're doing? I mean, honestly,
he's got to drive. No, wait. He's got to drive. He's got to lift the pin, and he has to do math.
Yeah,
all you're doing is playing golf, dude.
Yeah,
dude, seriously, we're
you're
calling.
doing one thing. He's
now,
doing
bear in mind, I am a few days removed from my 7th concussion. Right? I managed somehow to hit myself in the same fucking spot in the head with a hybrid. Kicking it up off of the ground, right? Because I'm like, I shanked a shot off of the fairway, off the deck with it. And I was like, fuck this club, right? I just kind of tossed it. I was like, and I went to go pick it up and I just kind of nudged my foot up underneath it and I lifted my leg and somehow the club just kind of jumped up and like whack right in the back of the head, like right behind my left ear. The same spot that I hit that turned me off like a switch. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little woozy for a second and things got a little hazy. They didn't tunnel at all, but they got a little hazy and like the sun's getting low in that sky.
Like, Johnny,
that's awesome. It's like Will Ferrell in Old School, right? I get back in the car and I'm just sitting there going,
"You're crazy."
I'm like, oh,
dude. Okay. One, Johnny. What I want you to realize is all your Starfleet stuff is more or less Make-A-Wish stuff now. I mean, you're sounding really, really, really on the down. I mean, you probably have some extra chromosomes.
David,
I feel for you.
Start fetishizing, He's got a Downs fetish.
I'm down if you're down.
All right.
I mean, David, that would mean more coming from somebody who wasn't the poster child for SIDS.
I'm telling you. I'm done. You know, I say these things, but I've done some stupid stuff too. Everybody's done some stupid stuff.
Hey,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Own up to it. Tomorrow, I fully expect to go out tomorrow and
Get another concussion.
I fully expect to go out tomorrow and then not be able to complete the round because I lost all my golf balls.
Almost lost all our golf.
No, I only lost 4 and I started the day with 12.
At the beginning, when we almost lost all our golf balls, and then it was like, I mean,
What are you talking about?
dude? We were down to like 2 more balls.
No, we weren't.
Yes, we were.
I keep 3 in the holder in the cart, dude. I'm talking about the other ones that I keep in my bag. Yeah, those. So I still have like 8 golf balls. Well, actually,
When I
I've
say
got
golf ball bag,
11 because I bought 3 brand new Titleist Pro V1s. So I don't know where the new math is coming from. That's why we do STAR testing in Texas, I guess. I don't know.
Math is racist, Johnny. You need to.
Yes, math is racist. But to quote Mr. Incredible, math is math.
If anything is racist, it's biology.
I mean, you want to talk about racist mathematics? How about the VA disability system? Holy shit. If you add up everything, I'm like 135% disabled, but according to the VA, I'm only 90%. I'm like, huh? I was 90% before you increased it. How am I still just 90%? I don't get it. Oh, well. All that being said, we're going to play your outro. Are you done? You're wanting to get out of here? You know, I hate saying this, but it's almost nicer having him at home with his mom because at least then he hangs out with us.
Right.
When he's here, he's just too cool to be in studio.
Okay. But like,
So, is he wrong? Like you're trying to argue, but is he wrong?
Your sister has joined the chat.
Okay, so yes. Now, thank you for bringing that up, Bell. Okay, because we talk about not having our strong suits. All right, so on the 15th, the morning of the 15th, I am picking Bell up from the Hobby International Airport here in Houston. Bell will be here. I may not have her on camera, but by God, I'm going to have her in studio the night of the 15th for our live broadcast.
to be fair,
Our super fan will make an appearance in studio, guys. I will die on that hill.
Finally.
I will die on that hill.
She's been on the show before.
She has been, but she doesn't like being on camera.
Yeah, but she hasn't made an appearance since she was voted.
She has not been in person. She's always been via satellite, via remote. You know, like
Either way, this is the super fan debut.
Yeah, this is the super fan debut. Yeah,
and she was voted.
It is. That's right. That is it. This is your super fan introduction. Your debut. Your if we're gonna borrow a Bridgerton thing, it's gonna be your case to be the diamond of the season. So
I'll buy that.
Just kind of be prepared. Now, Bella's going to have to bring her A game because just by her friend that she's bringing with her, her friend's name alone, she's going to have competition. Her friend's name, and I'm not kidding you, this is her Christian name, Empress. Nicest girl you'd ever want to meet. Calls me dad. I'm like, I'm okay with that. She's accompanying Belle down here to visit dad for a week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that. Now we probably won't have Empress on camera. She'll probably just kind of hang out, talk to my wife and her sister, kind of a thing, and that's cool too, you know. But you know, because it's the people that we care about the most that we bring in studio. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, I can tell by Colin's sudden, you know, like intent eye boring into his phone that he's ready for his outro. And just like that, he's gone without regard. See this disrespectful look here for your moral well-being.
you, unfortunately, have been witness to yet another traumatic episode of this guy's genetic code assaulting your soul without consent. It's so violent. I just don't know what to do. But, ladies, gentlemen, again, angry faithful of all ages, this was joke time with Colin.
To be fair, I spent time with you all day.
Yeah, I get it. But, we have commitments.
You didn't spend time with me, Colin.
You have a
Spend time
segment.
with me.
You are an integral part of the show.
Absolutely.
What?
I'm a co-host, and I don't even have my own segment.
What did you say?
So never mind, I'll stay on.
Why? Oh, is Jake going to bed because he's tired?
That's awesome, Bill.
Yeah. When are we going to go see Dad was the exact question she got. Well, Colin said he's going to stay. So hooray for us.
See, bullying works.
Exactly.
No. So Nashville hosted the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend. And it set a record for 5 overtime attempts to get a green flag finish this weekend. And the Weasley fucktard from Connecticut, the Alopecia having ass Joey Logano, won in Nashville. That's not fair. I shouldn't say that about Joey Logano. Well, Joey Logano is kind of he's kind of grown on me a little bit over the last couple of weeks, just because it's like, I don't know, maybe somebody climbed in his ass and humbled him a little bit. I'm okay with it, but I don't know. As the standings are right now, Kyle Larson has retaken the points lead. So the rundown for the top 16 spots right now: Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick moved up 1 spot. Martin Truex Jr. dropped to 5th. Christopher Bell in 6th. William Byron 7th. Ryan Blaney, who's the defending champ, sits in 8th. Red Keselowski moved up 1 spot to 9th. Ty Gibbs moved up 1 spot to 10th. Ross Chastain dropped 2 places to 11th. Chris Buescher moved up 1 to 12th. Alex Bowman dropped a spot to 13th. And we've got Joey Logano, the aforementioned race winner from this weekend. 15th place is Bubba Wallace, and Chase Briscoe rounding out the top 16 right now. Right now, we're looking at a points difference. Let's see here. Behind in 17th place right now, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is roughly about, I don't know, he's like 11 points or so back from making the playoffs. Right now, Chase Briscoe doesn't have any wins. Bubba Wallace does not have any wins. Alex Bowman does not. Neither does Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, or Martin Truex Jr. None of them have any wins. If it comes down to it, if Kyle Busch were to find his way into victory lane before the cutoff race at, I think it's going to be Daytona this year, he would bump Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe would find himself on the outside looking in to the final 16. If the playoffs started today, Kyle Larson would be the regular season champion. He would get a points bonus going into the first round of 16 race. But as it is right now, yeah, I mean, so the regular season champions awarded an automatic playoff entry, which if you're leading the points at this point, at this juncture in the season, more than likely you've got a couple of wins. They're awarded an automatic playoff entry and 15 playoff bonus points. So that could really help as it relates to advancing into the next round. Of course, with the way that the playoffs are set up in NASCAR, is if you win during that round, that like round 16, round of 12, yada yada, all the way out.
If you win, you advance to the next round automatically anyway. So, but those 15 points, they really help, especially if you're not able to win during that initial round. If you can maintain the points lead, you'll advance to the next round just on points alone. So the 15 points really does help. Let me see here. The race results. We've got, of course, we said Joey Logano finished the race. He won that one. We've got kind of a weird little, little blip, right? And I attribute this little blip to not necessarily the fact that the driver absolutely that came in second had a great day. This is almost a career day for him. But a lot of it's going to be pit strategy and the way that the way that the finishing order kind of fleshed itself out over the course of 5 overtime restarts. But Zane Smith driving the 71 Chevrolet Camaro came home second. So big points day for them. Big money day for that team. So congratulations to Zane Smith. Good job on that one. Tyler Reddick came home third. Ryan Priest drove home fourth. Chris Buescher finished fifth. Ryan Blaney sixth. Bubba Wallace seventh. Kyle Larson was the standard bearer for Hendrick Motorsports. He brought it home eighth. Daniel Hemrick in the 31 Chevy came home ninth. Noah Gregson, after having kind of the last couple of weeks being off week for him, kind of had a little bit of a bounce back this week. Finished 10th in the number 10 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. AJ Allmendinger in the 16 Chevy came home 11th. Denny Hamlin 12th. Justin Haley 13th. Alex Bowman 14th. Austin Cindric 15th. Carson Hocevar 16th. Todd Gilliland 17th. Chase Elliott 18th. Wayne Byron 19th. And Corey LaJoie rounded out the top 20 with a top 20 finish. The next race is going to be the Chicago Street Race. That one is coming up on the 7th. So it's going to be next Sunday. Let me do this here. We're going to scroll all the way down. Come on. Yeah, it's going to be called the Grant Park 165. So I think they're only going to run 165 miles on that. It's going to 75 laps. Bear in mind, it's a 2.5, almost 3 mile road course. The biggest straightaway is going to be along Lake Park Drive. You're going to see Lake Michigan out your driver's side window. And you're going to be racing towards downtown. Last year's race winner was the SVG, the Australian supercar driver, kind of a road course ringer. So you can almost look for the Vegas odds to kind of be betting on him to win that race again, as long as he's got the cup ride. But that race is going to start Sunday, July 7th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Central. That's going to be on NBC. It's also going to be carried by MRN, which is the Motor Racing Network. Sirius Satellite Radio, you know, pick that up on NASCAR Channel 90 or your Sirius XM app. Or it's also going to be simulcast on Peacock as well. So you can pick that race up streaming if you don't have NBC. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to pick that race up. I mean, I'll check in. I'll see what the running order is doing, things like that. The Chicago street race just really last year really kind of underwhelmed me a little bit.
I thought it was kind of funny off of that one turn, though. I mean, everybody
with the manhole cover.
Everybody on that one turn and that man, yes, too.
And so they fixed that, and it became a standard around all the different types of racing circuits. If there's a manhole cover on the street course, they tack weld them down.
Yeah,
they tack weld them now. For whatever reason, now this is the first race in downtown Chicago has ever held. For whatever reason, nobody thought to go, we might need to tack weld that manhole cover. And they just left it as is.
But they also were having problems at that one turn because they kept on slipping and hitting that barrier.
Well, this is the second go around for this track. Okay. So for this setup. So, and you're going to get a lot of drivers who are going to have spent an inordinate amount of time in the sim getting those turns down.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a short practice. They're gonna have a qualifying. They're gonna figure that turn out. So, you may see a little bit of chaos on like a late restart. Everybody's trying to jockey for position. You're going to see guys that are dive bombing into corners, breaking at the last possible minute to try to get that, that momentum to carry them through that corner, or at least into the following chicane or whatever. But I don't foresee, a lot of contact with multiple drivers, hitting the same spot. But,
I just had.
because I mean, and I say this, and for the racing purists, you're going to get a lot of cringe, but you spend enough time behind a steering wheel out on the street, you kind of figure, you drive the same route every day, multiple times a day, kind of a thing. You kind of figure out where your car is and where your center of balance is and things like that. And you know how to use the attitude of the car to make up a second or two here, there, a second or two there.
Well, it's like the same thing that I'm having.
Things, speed limits, second or two doesn't make a bit of difference. But when you're at the speeds that,
Well, it's also the same thing I'm having problems now. You are lagging really bad, John. Johnny's lagging really bad.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, look at that face. He's just looking in the air. And
He's looking right at you, Dave.
now he is. It's the death glare.
He's looking. Now he's looking.
Now he's
now he's looking at you, Chris.
That's
He's
him
looking down. He's looking down at you, Chris.
him looking at me because he's looking in disappointment.
Yep.
Yeah.
He may have been looking at me, but it was directed at you.
While Johnny gets his while Johnny gets his feedback,
here,
is it back?
Oh,
nope.
It's slow. No,
No.
It was
Johnny
briefly.
getting his feedback. There was actually an upset in the International Federation of American Football. Japan beat United States. Japan was 41-20. And this is a world championship. Happens, I guess, from looking at the Wikipedia stuff, it happens every 2 years, because I'm just seeing is like the host and everything. It's 2009, 2012, 2014, 2016, 18, and 24. That's 4 years. Anyways, it happens every so often. But yeah, United States lost 20-41. Big upset.
am I back now?
We're waiting on it. Not entirely.
There was a brief shining moment, and then again.
Yeah. He did the Johnny, do the hawk tour.
Bet on that thing.
Hell yeah.
Did you guys see the hot Tua?
The is the
Well, at least we got the gargle.
I'm gonna say this is a StreamYard issue again.
Well, we're all it's
Firefox.
No, it's on Johnny's end because it's too much.
That's what it is.
Too much information getting stuff. But
we're gonna
go ahead, Johnny. See if you can talk. At least.
Yeah, can you hear?
I can hear you, but then you break up. Not
It's
that
like
kind of break, Johnny. I just don't want you to be worried.
No. Wait, which one of us?
Max, you always are on a thin rope.
Thin rope. Sounds like a diet. I like it.
Jeez.
A big ass vegan.
Why do I let you allow you to
See, I'm not happy with my ISP right now. I'm really not, because I pay for 1 gig. I have fiber service in my house. Why the fuck am I $9.95?
This is hilarious.
Why do I?
God, you couldn't have timed that.
I know, right?
That was brilliant.
That was brilliant. He's like, I'm so tired.
We should make that into a commercial.
I'm telling you, that's
Chop
our
it into a short.
That was great.
Yeah.
And look at
What
there
about now?
Okay, you're still a little bit laggy, but go ahead.
A little bit laggy. See,
Yeah.
I pay for fucking fiber internet in my house, and I feel like I'm still having to like surf, like download corn, like old school dial-up style, 1 line at a fucking time on the page.
pixel at a time.
Napster style.
Just when I get to the bottom of that, just when I get to the top of that areola, if somebody fucking calls and knocks me off the internet.
Right.
Oh, that areola is so beautiful.
Homework.
If this is the way that AT&T proposes high-speed internet, I'm just going to go back to Xfinity. That's all there is to it. God, I'm all for sure. Look, I'm supposed to be getting gig service and pay half the price that I was paying for Xfinity service. Right? I'm not impressed, like at all. Having something hardwired into a computer and being able to download like 900, like a gig, like an honest to God gig download. That's great. But dude, the bandwidth I am not impressed with. I mean, for the most part, that was painful. For the most part, it's been peachy. It's just right there. I'm not happy with it.
Yep,
like I want consistency. I want the same fucking site picture day in and day out.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bless you, Dave, by the way. Yes, I did hear that. Now, I managed to pull off the impossible today. I got our 2 youngest boys to sit down and engage with a screening of Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
Oh, yes.
Which is a classic.
It's but a flesh wound.
And they got pissed at the ending. They were like, what? We don't even get to see the fight? And I'm nope.
Did you explain to them why you didn't get to see the fight?
Yeah. And they're like, that's stupid. And I'm like, I know, right? But I mean, they were laughing. I mean, the night with the Black Knight was hilarious.
That's
like
so
she
good.
turned me into a newt. She turned you into a newt. I'm feeling much better.
Why? Okay. Why didn't they do?
Who are you who are so wise in the ways of soul?
Why didn't they have the fight at the end of the movie? It's because they all got arrested for murdering that historian.
Yeah, no, but the actual they ran out of budget. That's why they couldn't. Because their budget
was the reason.
Ended.
Yeah,
but it was. They had to do that because they did the whole arrested thing because they ran out of money.
when the cop comes over and goes, pack it in, and he smacks the lens on the camera, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the up-tempo music, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the movie was trying to hit pause and read the opening credits about the moose.
Yes.
But I mean, we've got Reagan. He's got Asperger's, so he's on the spectrum, and then we've got Trace. He's got ADHD. It's a constant battle, right? Like uphill struggle. I mean, we're talking. It's like Atlas pushing that stone constantly, right?
Yep.
It's trying to get them to stay engaged long enough with something besides regular show or the amazing world of Gumball, right? And I saw Monty Python on Netflix. And I was like, oh, I know what we're watching. I was like, and you guys are going to watch it too. I mean, initially Trace gave me a little bit of grief. He's like, I want to watch a movie. I'm like, dude, you're going to watch this movie, right? And my sister-in-law was sitting in there in the living room, and she was like, You're gonna like it, Bubba. It's funny. So trying to explain some of the jokes to him, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he stopped playing his game without being told, sat back on the couch, and watched the movie.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Especially when we got to the cave dwelling beast with the ferocious, sharp pointed teeth. You know, like, he goes, "It's just a rabbit." I'm like, "Yeah, just wait."
He's behind the rabbit.
And then, then when they brought out the holy hand grenade of Antioch, they both looked at each other because it was like, I guess it was a reference to a Gumball episode.
Gumball references everything.
Yeah, and I was like, "No, where do you think Gumball got it from?" They're like, "Oh, we get it now." Like, oh my god. Oh, it's so great. It's like 1, 2, 5, 3, 3.
Risa. 5 is right out.
5 is right out. What is the average airspeed of a laden air swallow? What do you mean? African or European? I don't know. How did you know this? It is your job to know these things as king.
Gotta watch. I gotta watch that again.
Classic.
You know what's a movie that I watched today? It came on and I was like, you know what? Why not? Down Periscope.
Lieutenant, you are barely out of uniform. You're almost out of uniform. That was the greatest line in that whole movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So talking about Kelsey Grammer. All right. So the Star Trek: The Next Generation episode Cause and Effect, where the Bozeman, USS Bozeman, comes through that time rift, and Kelsey Grammer's the captain, right?
Mm-hmm. And we almost
Normalization.
His eye.
So close.
I got a novelization about it that talked about the Bozeman and the crew kind of becoming starships, and he even did he was in command of the Enterprise E during the trial runs.
I really want to finish the story. That's what I'm invested in this now, and it keeps
We're
on
all invested.
Yes,
it's like the first 8 minutes of the show, dude. I don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, not me.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, a lot of.
Well, I can read lips, but this is difficult.
It's not that difficult.
What do you think he's saying right now?
I'm not allowed to say that. Yeah, I'm not allowed to say that because anytime that I end up, saying that's on my thought program, I get to talk to HR in each and every business.
Are you the HR department, Dave?
No.
Oh.
No.
Chris is still HR?
No. Well, yeah, but he lets us get away with everything. So isn't that right, Chris?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Chris is pretty chill.
Oh, so what did you do on your birthday? I mean,
work.
Inquiring mind, just work.
I worked, came, picked up my kids, and that was about it. Did nothing.
Why is that? That there was a an article that said that women get really happy about their birthday. Men just don't care. Just leave us alone for 24 hours. We're happy about that.
It's just nobody's ever made a big deal out of my birthday, so why start now?
We make a big deal, buddy. We love you.
Yeah. You want us to? Did anybody sing happy birthday to you? Do you want us to sing happy birthday to you?
Did it?
No. You don't get an option with that.
I don't
Happy
think
birthday
to
you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you.
I give
and
that
many
a
more.
solid 8.5 out of 10. Solid 8.5.
I take it. Even look
I'm
at it.
thinking
Look at this. Happy belated birthday from Belle.
Thank you, Belle.
Yeah,
I think we just formed a musical group. We do.
I'll tell
Have
you,
you guys noticed that Johnny isn't on here?
Yeah,
he's working on it.
The best thing I think I got, is my girlfriend gave me a Mandalorian helmet keychain, which is fucking dope. It's awesome. And then my daughter made me a strawberry.
Was it Beskar?
It's not yet. I'm working on it. And then my daughter made me a strawberry rhubarb pie, which was my favorite in the fucking world. I love strawberry rhubarb.
What is
That sounds delicious.
Rhubarb?
Yeah. I don't think
it kind of looks like a celery stalk a little bit. It's kind of like a mix between it's you know what Swiss chard is?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Well, that's also similar. It's red in color, has a real tart taste. You don't eat the leaves. Leaves are poisonous, but the stalks are real. It's got a real tang to it. And then you mix it with the sweetness of the strawberries. Oh,
nice.
It's good stuff. I want to make a strawberry because I have some extra rhubarb, and I need to go and get some more. I want to try making a strawberry rhubarb mead and see how that would come out.
Yeah. Talking about sweets, our little town got national news last week.
What did you do?
It wasn't me.
Closed.
I don't buy it for a second. What did you do?
It wasn't me.
The fucking Hooters closed.
We have a sweet shop that makes cookies and pastries and stuff like that. And they made national news because they made a MAGA cookie.
That's awesome.
And they posted it on a national baking Facebook page, and it got a lot of hate. Their Yelp rating went from 3.8 went from 4.9 out of 5 to 3.8 out of 5
reviews from people who have never been there.
Exactly. Even to the point, even to the point they got doxxed, and they were saying, yeah, we went to this shop, and it basically the guy sexually harassed me, all kinds of stuff. Here's the funny thing about it. Two congressmen called the business up, say, hey, how can we help you? And also Tucker Carlson called them up, and I think they're going to do an interview with them or something with Tucker Carlson. And they, to this date, when the article came out, it was they sold 5,000 of those cookies. Now it's up to like 20,000.
Awesome.
Speaking of SA, the little blurb that I sent out in the group chat today, that's a real thing. These millennials and Gen Zers are trying to get games like Call of Duty and Halo canceled.
Yep.
They've been doing that for years.
So. No, I get it. But if you read the article that I sent, it was more than just a screenshot. It was an actual article. They are trying to get teabagging classified as SA.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there going, I'm sorry. If you did something dumb and you got me with a very low KD rate to actually kill you, you earned that teabag.
Well,
I posted on my Facebook feed this afternoon. I'm going to teabag even harder now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've basically become that gamer where I only play the single player campaigns. I don't like playing online just because, I don't like having to deal and fish through all of the, through all the modders. I don't care to do that. People with auto aim on and crap like that. I don't care to play like that. When we played, I mean, it was the very, 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 very toxic Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. We had the,
I still have emotional scars from that.
Right. It's like the original Halo lobbies, Halo 2 lobbies, Halo 3,
Bad.
the firefight lobbies for Halo Reach, or even Counter-Strike 2. If you're talking about Steam Day or Steam games.
Are we up at that age to where we have to come back? It's like, you know what? In my day, it was a lot worse. I mean, we're at that age, and
No, you want funny? Okay, so this was a weekend that the boys weren't here. Jake, our oldest, here at the house, he was like, GoldenEye's got multiplayer on Switch Online. I was like,
slappers only.
I'm your fucking Huckleberry, bro. Right?
Yeah.
And he would get a couple of kills, right? But the map that we were playing on was Temple.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And once I got my bearings and I figured out, the controller, he actually quit.
Yeah. They quit this.
Yep.
He was like,
Let me guess. He was like, I don't know how to play anymore.
he's like, yeah, he goes, I don't want to play anymore. I mean, like Jake doesn't rage quit. Like he just kind of very passive aggressively goes, I just don't want to play anymore. Like I'm tired. I don't want to play this. It's not fun.
Rage quit.
And I'm like, okay, that's great. Because you get like the proximity mines, right?
Yeah.
And that he's coming down a corner, right? And I just start throwing shit in blind corners, right?
You're really good at that too.
Start throwing shit into blind corners. Like you have no, like there's one where like you have to come out of through. It's not one of the grand tall doorways either. It's a normal sized doorway that your character has to go through. What you do is you put the proximity mine on the wall, on the hallway side of the door that he's coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So like you've got the doorway is here, and then you've got that little bit of wall right there, right? It's like almost like a soffit. That's where you throw the mine. So that way it goes off when he comes through the door. So it's hilarious because you get the remote mines too. So where they can see the mines, but they don't go off, right? So he walks past them and he thinks that he's going to be smart. And he can see like you'll sit there and you got to throw a decoy out. So you throw one out that's like in plain sight, like eye level. And you either shoot it or you throw a grenade, right? So he shoots it and it sets off a chain reaction that envelops the hallway he's standing in nothing but fire.
See, that's the generations there, because we were playing when we did the NASCAR thing, and you soundly whipped my ass up one side, down the other. It was not close. And we were laughing the whole time.
We were, and it was funny because it was like, there's certain games that you're familiar with, you're comfortable with because you spent the better part of your military career playing these games in the barracks when you were shamming out with the E4 Mafia, right?
Yeah.
You're out there doing barracks maintenance, knowing damn well you got a video game controller in your hand, right? And for me, it was Perfect Dark and 007 GoldenEye, man. And I'm just sitting there going, all right, okay. And we had to make that rule, right? And when I heard myself uttering these words, I was like, oh my God, I'm 19 all over again. Don't look at other people's screens. Right.
That's when you come with little cardboard dividers and shit.
Yeah,
right. When you're playing with a 75-inch TV mounted to the wall, it's a little bit hard, right? So it got to the point where the kill count was so high, right? We didn't play to a score. We played time limit. And it was like a 20-minute game or something like that. And so I just said, I don't care. look at my screen. See if you can figure out where I'm at. I dare you to come and kill me.
You would like stand in the hallway, and it would be like, and you wouldn't even move. You'd just be like, take a look, watch, look, see, you got, okay, come get me. I'd be like, I don't even know where that's at. He's like, well, go down that hallway, go to the right. Go over here.
You come around the corner.
You son of a bitch.
It was like, the other two, I mean, the other two were just sitting there like, Trace legitimately started yelling at me. He's like, this is so unfair. And I'm like, dude, get better.
Exactly.
Like your only recourse at that point is to just get better,
Get good.
That actually just reminds me of a story. What happened when I was doing Magic Pro. I was going to tournaments and everything, and I had this one tournament, and this kid is like, he was from Henrietta, and he's like, yeah, I'm the best in my town. I was like, okay, cool. And I had this laundry list.
From Henrietta.
Yeah. I was like, I beat all my friends in Magic and everything. I am the best and everything. And I have this thick ass book of what I'm allowed to say. Well, I got this paper. I'm allowed to things I'm allowed to say, and verbatim every match and everything, especially with new players. I had to bring this freaking thing out. And I have a couple of encyclopedias of things I'm not allowed to say. Anyways, so I'm like reading this thing off. And legitimately, I wish I still had it. It was literally a piece of paper I read verbatim. It was like, shake their hand. Thank you for coming in, and I hope you do well in your match. I read the
autistic cliff notes for how to behave in public.
Basically.
Okay.
And I had made this new deck. It was more or less counter spells. Bring one creature out that has protection for everything. That's legitimately what this creature has. I can bring in it. And if you know anything about Magic, what I'm actually saying, I could bring this out before my turn, so it doesn't have summoning sickness. So I have a 10/10 protection from everything on the board, and it's attacking the first turn and attacks the second turn. Person's dead. Nothing can touch it. Well, I did my game. He was confused on something on it. It's like, well, I'm going to destroy that creature. I was like, you can't destroy it. It has protection from everything. It's on the card. Go ahead and read if you need to. I did everything I did. So I go outside, cooling down and everything, talking with other people that are outside. And one of the other players is like, hey, Dave, what did you say to that kid? I was like, what are you talking about? I have my note thing. I pulled it out of my pocket. I was like, I have my notes right here, what I'm supposed to say. I didn't deviate. I didn't say anything in the encyclopedia. Well, he's crying now. I was like, the store owner is trying to counsel this kid.
Like, that is a one, right?
I was like, you're bullshitting me. I take a peek inside. It's like, oh shit, that kid is fucking balling his eyes out.
With trample points or anything like that? Were you guys playing trample at all?
No, is 20
like a flying creature or an artifact?
No, what it is, it's an older card. It's all okay. It's 2 of each color. Man.
Oh, okay.
And the only way to get this out really fast, so it's a 10 casting cost creature, and I can get it out within third turn because there's this other card that you can put a green creature out into play, and it was an instant. So what I would do is I boost out all the mana producers I possibly could for green, and then because this creature was a green creature, I could put the creature out. And even if they actually blanket effect it, kill the creature, it gets shuffled in back into the library. So I can just go ahead and find it again, pull it out, and rinse, lather, and repeat. And they can't really do anything because all I have the rest of the deck is counter spells.
One of my favorite combos, actually, I think it ended up becoming illegal to use in tournaments back when I used to play way back in the day. We're talking the 90s, right? I had a Keldon Warlord and a Summoning Pit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The Keldon Warlord was only as powerful as the number of creatures you had on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the Summoning Pit would spawn a 1/1 creature every upkeep.
Yeah.
So I would sit there and just like play. I would just play defense the whole game. And then I would have like 25 1/1 creatures sitting out there. I would tap them all. The Keldon Warlord all of a sudden became 25, and I would attack with it. It was great.
There's a lot more ridiculous nowadays. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure. And once I sold my Magic deck years ago, I mean, and I had so many commons, but I had all those good cards in there, and I think I sold the whole damn thing for like $400, which back then I was just happy to get rid of it. But
now that you look at it, how much money you can make it out of now?
dude, I look back at those. I sold 2/3 of my Funko collection, right?
Yeah.
I had I gone to a collector instead of selling it to a comic book shop,
Yeah.
I could have made an easy additional $2,000.
Yeah. Well, I sold all of my Magic cards, and this is like playing tournaments, getting cards from there, trading and everything. I had, let's just say this, 2 of my decks were worth $2,000. Grand a piece per deck. One, it was the I had Textless Land. At the time, Textless Land were going for like I think $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And most of the card, I mean, the Command and Conquer card that I had in one of the decks, just one of the decks, that was like $250. And I had 4 of them in the deck. And I ended up selling all my cards for $2,000.
Yeah.
Basically, he bought 2 of my decks. I just wanted to get rid of the cards, and I needed the money at the time.
Yeah, it was like last week. Dude, I was just kind of bored, right? I went through. I pulled out the tote that I keep all my games in, like PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Series X games, Switch games, stuff like that. I found like 5 or 6 games that I just wasn't playing anymore. And, just like, I really don't want this game. I went over to GameStop here in Lake Jackson, traded it in, had enough store credit. I went and got one of those Seagate expansion cards for my Series X. And let me tell you, that makes a lot of difference. So I have an extra terabit of space on my internal on my Series X now.
Damn.
Internal.
And the access time, the read time with that expansion slot filled, dude. I see the loading screens for about that long.
You don't have enough time to read them.
Yeah, I'm just like, was there a hint there? Just kind of. But I mean, yeah, I got the Seagate one instead of the Western Digital because I'm like, it is what it is. I'm gonna get the Xbox branded one. Not a big deal. It call me an elitist. I don't give a fuck. But I like to match things with brands, kind of a deal, when I can help it. But it's like, you remember back in the day when like PS2 Mad Catz was just releasing everything for PS2, right?
Yep. They're always in super bright colors too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they had some fire ass controllers, but they would always burn out your PS2.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so bad. And Logitech started coming out with the wireless ones, but they would just go through batteries like nobody's business. And I actually had a Logitech dongle actually corrode the contacts in my controller receptacle on my PS2. And It was right about that time when I got introduced to Halo, and I was just like, you know what? I'm fucking good anyway. I'm taking this PS2. I wish to God I'd have kept that PS2. You know, but
hard to find.
They actually
even like nowadays, what I want to do is I want to get one of the fat PS2s, one of the original PS2s. Remember they had that broadband modem
port
that you could plug into in the back to play SOCOM,
Yeah.
right? All right.
Yeah.
You can actually mod them out now to where you can put like I think it's like you can put a SATA drive in there. And you can basically download the ROMs for every PS2 title along with like other consoles like PS1 and PS2 titles, and they can all fit on that one um
ROM
drive, and it fits, and they make an adapter to where it looks like the old school modem, and it plugs right into that slot. So, you can stay offline and download every game that you ever wanted to play on PS2.
Nice.
And then they've got now, if you remember, like on your GameCubes, if you flipped it over, there was that one little door that always had the cover on it. You could plug your Game Boy Advance player on the bottom of your GameCube, but there was always that one extra port that was used for developers.
Mhm.
They've got a mod now where you can put on a flash card on just like a micro SD card, and it fits into that slot, and you can download the ROMs for every GameCube game. And not alter with you don't have to do any kind of soldering at all.
What do you think about the new
Plug and
Legend of Zelda game coming out where you can play with as Zelda?
Where you're playing as Zelda, I think that's a nice little fresh breath air. I think it's a pretty cool departure. Do what? I think it's a sequel to Link's Awakening. Yeah, here. You're here, so might as well be on the microphone. Colin thinks that it's going to be a sequel to Link's Awakening, because if you look, the graphics are kind of the same. They've got kind of that 16-bit feel to it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I'm excited for is the new Mario Luigi game, and they're re-releasing some of the Street Fighter X.
Oh yeah, it's Street Fighter X. They're also going to do Capcom versus Marvel.
Yeah, Capcom.
They're going to do a lot of re-releases of that. I like the fact that studios are embracing the retro culture, and they're giving us a lot of the remasters that we've been asking for. Oh, goody. Okay, so kind of a sidebar. If you guys have been tracking it at all, there is a storm currently out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's Hurricane Bertle. It's officially a Category 5 now.
Oh,
and we'll know by Tuesday or Wednesdays whether or not we're going to have to potentially evacuate, because they're saying there's a chance that it's already turned north a little bit. And it's further up the coast in Mexico, but there's one model that's projecting in a landfall at Lake Jackson, which is right here,
right on top of you.
Yeah, so I don't like the idea of having to bug out of my own house, but I don't know. I mean, I may have to do a show live from some remote location, kind of a deal.
Undisclosed location.
Yeah. Like I'm here in the bunker,
straight from Mount Weather.
Because my thing is that I don't mind so much the evacuation part, because family, right? You got to make sure your family's taken care of. That's first and foremost. Your duty as a man is to make sure that your family's taken care of.
Yeah,
that's why we're the sheepdogs, right? My thing is I don't want to have to fucking shoot anybody when I come home and find somebody trying to squat in my house.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. They're material possessions, and that's what I've got homeowners insurance for. But fucking hell, man, don't make me have to jump through hoops just because you're too lazy to fucking get out and get it, work for it yourself.
I was gonna say, thank God Texas doesn't have the squatter laws that they do in other fucking places like New York and California.
Dude,
it is a nightmare.
Because if we evacuate, I'm kind of laying this out there as a matter of public record. Me and my house, we are Second Amendment supporters to the hilt. I will clear my house upon reentry, pieing my corners and making sure that I'm concealed, I'm covered at least, and I'm checking lines of sight. I will sweep my house, and I will do it with the safety off. So please, by all means, save yourself the fucking heartache. Don't make me put you on a goddamn t-shirt.
With that note,
or do, because then you'd get your stateside kill.
Right? Yeah, my house pop. Exactly. I get the house pop, stateside kill. Bro, they just might. They might.
It's a twofer. You know what? As a matter of fact, come on down.
Yeah, come on down. Let me get the twofer. I will do my best King Leonidas impression, and I will stack bodies at my front door like it's the pass of Thermopylae.
With that note, everybody, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
I am Chris Jacka.
I am Mad Max Trubin.
Say your name again.
I'm Colin Skelton.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for putting up with the lagging internet. Thank you for putting up with us for the last 2 hours and 28 minutes and 46 seconds. You have been indentured. You have become privy. Pray that the weather holds out, and at the very least, we just have a tropical storm here, because I don't want to really go anywhere. I don't want to have to fight people on 45. It's just a big thing. But all that being said, we thank you for repeatedly coming in and sitting here and letting us inundate your eyes and your ears with just dribble for the last 167 weeks. This is just as much as fun for us as it is for you. It's possibly even funner for us because we're the ones administering the punishment. But with that being said, we bid you adieu for yet another week. And in the immortal words of the late pirate Fishy Beard
Roberts.
No, Fishy Beard. I'm coming up with a name here. Fishy Beard. Scissor me timbers. Har.